episode of the Taco Time podcast. I am your host, Anthony D. Tizakella, joined by Ryan Alldredge, number 2 at the first ever Living Legend tournament. And Thomas Briggs, number 14, right next to me at number 15. Say what's up, guys.
Hello.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan, also known as Nudre, or other handles on Discord, I guess. Yeah, I placed second at the AG tournament. A lot of fun, and we're going to talk about it.
Hello, my name is Thomas. I also go by ZZZ Wake Up. I placed an unknown double-digit number at the tournament, 14 apparently. That's cool. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for coming on, dude. So, today we are going to talk about what's on everyone's mind. Obviously, the Living Legend format. So, first off, let's talk about impressions. Was it everything you thought it would be and more?
Yes.
Honestly, had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And not just because I got second place, but because it just felt like this is something new and fresh. And right now we're kind of in a stale meta.
Mm-hmm.
Like we never had Stubbies Fais with Prism. We never had Stubbies Fais with Starvo. Chain wasn't around during Stubbies Fais. As you can see, it's all based around Stubbies Fai because that was the deck to play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's different. It's fresh. Like there's a lot of different avenues you can take with the decks too. So I don't know. What do you think, Thomas? You played a different hero than me, so.
I played Starvo. I loved the format. I thought it was, maybe this is just because I played Starvo. It was pretty interactive. It was fun going up against all the super high-powered decks. I didn't get a chance to play against Prism. I played against Dramai, and that was fun. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to play against Prism. But it was a ton of fun. I really hope LSS starts formally hosting these events.
Yeah, I thought so. Ryan and I played basically the same deck. I think it was card for card the same deck actually.
So
yeah, the format felt really good unless you were playing Starvo, in which case it was a little tricky. I played 2 Starvos. One of them I didn't get a single turn. The second one was Thomas, and he rolled my ass over too, so that was cool. The other matchups I played were pretty good. I enjoyed them. Prism is, would we call it a buy? It might not be a buy, but it's definitely not hard.
I think it's pretty much.
Yeah. You played,
especially with Shuko.
You played Dromai. How was that, dude?
Twice.
How was that?
So I played the one hero we weren't expecting at all.
Yeah.
We didn't put Mask of Momentum in the list because we didn't expect to actually use it or need it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game I played in Swiss against Zach. Shout out to Zach too for bringing Dromai to this tournament.
Shout out to Zach for top 8ing with
a
fucking CC
bad
deck.
Energy.
With a CC deck, basically.
He put in a Belittle, but I don't think he put in a Minnoism, which is like ultra based.
He did it just to shuffle his deck, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, super based. So the first game against Dromai was fine at the beginning. Like I was kind of chipping away, waiting to see my Art of Wars, and then I saw my Art of Wars, and my draws off the banishes were pretty garbage. It turned out to be like a 20-ish, 25-ish damage turn. Fortunately, just drew plays headlong and snatches off of it, which was kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I got him down to 6, and then I played a Monger's Diplomacy. He ended up choosing War and just absolutely destroying Metamorph into Dragon combos. Yeah, pretty scary, honestly. It felt not favored either way. It just kind of felt like ending to the game.
Sure.
And then in top 8, in the semis, we played again. This time, my banishers were completely different. Double Art of War. It was funny. So the turn that blew him out was I Art of War into Snatch for 5, and he blocked with the 5 block.
The flicker trick?
Reaction.
Yeah.
The flicker trick.
Did you have another Art of War?
I had another Art of War to blow him up. So I popped his D-React there, which completely changed the tempo of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my draws were absolute gas. So it was a completely different game. 35 damage Stubby's turn is exactly what you want to see. That's exactly what I got him down to 8, and from there just chipped him down.
Blake was like, "Oh, I just saw Zach get up, so Zach must have won." And I was like in the chat yelling, I was like, "Ryan ran his ass over."
Yeah, I mean, Dromai, honestly, at the end of the day, was a good pick. I don't know how. I saw the match against Prism, and it looked very exhausting to play.
Yeah, that was
Both of
ridiculous,
them
dude.
just kind of chipping each other down.
I think that like the different matchups between Dromai and Prism show how like bonkers a class illusionist is, and how like they don't know what to do with ally. I mean, they do know what to do with some allies, right? But there's no like overarching principle, it seems, because they play pretty differently. I think maybe and there are probably some matchups. I'm not a Dromai expert. I'm definitely not a Prism expert, but
It's wild to see how much more powerful OG Prism is versus the new Prism. Like, it's night and day, dude.
I still don't even know what the new Prism. I haven't seen it. Like, I've never played against it. Maybe played against it once and won very quickly on Talishar or something.
It's completely different.
Figments, right? They have figs.
The figs.
They transform figs into angels.
Fig trees, yeah.
Very, very biblical.
I went back and watched your fam game.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the finals, and honestly, dude, like I think you had both of those games. You just had really bad Art of Wars. Like, I think it was against Anthony. Maybe you had like I think both games you had like a double Art of War, and like your hands were like weird and clunky. Like I think if you just have like super normal hands during both of those games, you probably just win.
Yeah. That's why
you making one mistake that you regretted.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in the story. But yeah, that's why I posted the I love Art of War, I love Auto War. Absolute garbage draws off of that. You can post that here at some point, sure.
Yeah, I'll screenshot it.
And then like, you know, in top 8 after I ran over Zach, I was like, wait, I actually love Art of War.
When this does what it's supposed to, this card's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Briar matchup felt kind of awkward because Briar just is very defensive of football. He can block a lot.
Yeah.
So it makes your combos kind of hard. Because I mean, he completely shut out my Stubbies turn. To be fair, it was a pretty.
It was a pretty mid Stubbies turn, but like he got at one point, I think he got like 2 embodiments too because he had a whatever.
Some spring, yeah.
So, dude, like he did a good job of stuffing that turn.
Yeah,
Briar's a huge sleeper pick. I think like Briar. I mean, Fam is a god at this game, but I think Briar is underrated.
Oh, for sure.
Like super powerful. 2 people played Briar, right? Or 1? Was it just Anthony?
It was just Anthony. I was talking to my friend Joe, who's like a really big Briar guy, and he was like, before the tournament, he sent me his Lightning Briar list. He's like, this would probably be really good. It's like kind of the same principle, just no CMH, but like a bunch of ball lightnings and elemental cards and like stinger sorceries.
How does it work?
And like when I looked at Fam's list, like it's basically CC with the exception of the plunder runs. I never once on stream saw him play a ball lightning. Mostly, I think because they don't block. And like, honestly, dude, like maybe Fam can just top 8 that tournament playing a CC deck. Like maybe it doesn't matter because he's like such a good player. I don't know, but
Plunder Run is insane though. So
yeah, how did you feel about Plunder Run, Ryan? I was super on the fence about it. Like when it works, it's great. I don't know.
I think it's really good. I don't think you want to run 3 personally. I think you run 2 red.
Yeah, that's what we ran.
Especially, yeah. If you're on chain, maybe you run 3.
Chain should run 3 for sure.
Yeah, let's touch on chain afterwards too, because I think that it's kind of a sleeper pick too. Sure. But I think Briar, is fine with Plunder Run because you want the non-existent, right?
Yeah.
Extra go again.
So like even if it doesn't get the buff, who cares, right? Because you get the embodiment.
Yeah, you still get the embodiment. You still get the lightning activation if you're playing like a snatch or something, right, from the go again. So you get double draw or something. And like much like Fai, like where you can just play it naked and not care about the buff because you're going 6 wide and they can't possibly block everything. And if they do, great. Like the turn that Anthony stuffed on you, like he had to stuff it, right? Because you're gonna hit on the plunder run and then you're gonna lynx and he's gonna take a ton of damage, have no armor left and no hand, so he has to stuff it. So like if you have 1 more damage that turn from somewhere, like you probably win that game. But also
the thing that Briar does that Fai doesn't do very well is present breakpoints on almost every attack, right? So whereas we can go super wide and hit for one off of a flame and make them block like crap, they can just go four and it's really hard to block it. So I don't
Yeah, they
know.
have a lot of vortex, so it's harder to block.
Yeah, I don't know that
Decks with more armor.
I don't know that it's a sleeper pick per se, but I think that like it just didn't show up, and I think it didn't show up the way that Chain didn't show up. Before we get into the rune blades, because we didn't get to see much of that, let's talk about the Starvo situation. Thomas, you played Starvo. How did Starvo feel? How did you feel on Starvo? You were saying the night before when we were playtesting that like you felt like your list was super unrefined. Obviously,
Oh,
Starvo won,
I
but
threw together I threw together such a trash Starvo list. It ended up being less trash the morning of. I kept too many Bravo cards in because
sure.
I like those cards. Like I like Imposing Visage. I like Showtime. I got an Imposing Visage off in one game. It worked out pretty well. I just like those cards, but I think with a list with more elements and just a leaner Starvo list, I think I would have felt super powerful. He has the tools to deal with everything, I think. Although, like I said, I haven't played the Prism matchup, but I don't think it's that bad. Starstruck is nuts. You also have just access to Crown of Seeds, which is ridiculous. It's the most powerful piece of equipment besides Spring Tunic ever printed, and you get that along with Winter's Wail, along with Spring Tunic, and now we have Civic Steps, which just gives him +3 life on his boots, and he also gets +3 life from Crater Fist. So super resilient, and yeah, it can disrupt Fi. I want to play against the Chain matchup more and the Briar matchup more. I think those would be really cool. But yeah, Starvo feels awesome.
Yeah,
Charles Dunn's list was very good, obviously.
yeah. I was watching the game that Evan played into Alan, and like Alan didn't fuse. I think he fused once the whole game, and it was like a pretty long game. So like Lexi ended up winning that game, and I don't know if that's an accurate representation of how strong Lexi is. Like, and maybe it is, or how bad Alan drew. But the fact that Lexi was able to even pull that out in the first place is kind of nuts. Um,
I mean, if Starvo doesn't fuse, it's just trash Bravo, right? It's Bravo with these dinky little element cards that don't do anything. And you have Winter's Wail, which is nice, but you might just want to be coming in for 6 damage, right? If you're not going to be fusing.
yeah,
Um, and so I can totally see, yeah, I really bricked on a lot of Starvo activations, but that's again because my list didn't run many elements.
sure.
People, I think, also just forgot how powerful just holding one of the pulses is. If you draw a pulse, you just hold the pulse. You don't even arsenal the pulse, right? It's
Yeah,
just you just hold it and you just guarantee fuses for the rest of the game. And if you're getting a fuse, they probably won't be able to interact with your hand on the next turn because you probably stripped at least 2 cards from their hand.
yeah,
So, and then you hold a pulse. And then at the end of it, if you've been holding Pulse of Volthaven, and then you can do like a surprise blink Pulse of Volthaven Winter's Wail for 8, which feels ridiculous. And then you can play Awakening if you're losing, and you can just get a 0 cost Pulverize that gets +2 and dominate, and then you swing for Winter's Wail. So it's kind of a like stupid deck when you start to unpack just the number of ways that it can like claw back value from like any situation.
yeah. I think that's exactly what Angel did to me in round one. He like found pulse, and he just like always swing. Like he
Hell
never
yeah.
threw the hammer because he wanted to keep the pulse, and it was so annoying, dude. Um, Ryan, you played
Because like, how do
against.
you strip their cards, especially as 5? You
Yeah,
have
what are
no
you gonna
way to get
do?
that out of
Like
his hand, right?
here's 10. They're like, cool. Here's 14. Dominate. Discard 2 cards. Whatever. Go again. Um, Ryan, in your game against Charles, like it actually ended up being really close. I think like when I was watching it, like I knew that you lost because you told me, but when I watched it, I was like, how did you lose? Because it was so close. And like I guess was it another just clunky art of war? Do you remember? I don't really remember what happened. Or on your side of the table, what did it feel like happened?
So I think the biggest mistake was banishing
Melting.
Mounting Anger. Yeah. I think I banished a red Mounting Anger instead of the yellow Salto Moon.
Mm,
And having that as a break been huge to just push more damage.
yeah.
And I think if I kept that, I would have just played the one for the next one because the draws I had were pretty clunky. anyways. So probably just play the Mounting Anger, just try to get chips and damage in, maybe use him to use some armor. Save the Art of War, save the Stubbies, and just kind of go off at the next point. Because I think in that matchup, and that's kind of what I did against Alan was I had pretty mediocre turns, but they were powerful, but not powerful enough to pop Stubbies.
Sure.
So I just kind of chipped him down and chipped away his armor, and then when I found the ability to pop Stubbies and have a big go wide turn,
Yeah.
I had no armor left, and that's just kind of I think what kind of decided the matchup was just again Art of War banishes and just banishing the wrong card, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think that was
Starvo has
definitely.
2 armor uses.
Say it again.
Starvo has like kind of functionally 2 armor uses, like
Yeah, because everything just battle wears.
legs both for 2, and then they both block for 1. So it's like that's not. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the ice shield is crazy, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think had your banishes or your draws lined up a little bit better, like I think you definitely are still in that game. I think a lot of that situation with Starvo is like you have to make them have it, and if they don't, you just I think that's what Fai is really good at, right? If they don't have it, they just lose.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to give you props on for sure, and like I think that this is probably not so obvious, even though it kind of should be, is that like just because you draw Art of War, you don't pop Stubbies. And I saw a couple times down the stream where you were like, "This isn't the time." So like you did try to have a big turn, but you weren't going to waste your Stubbies. So like effectively, you got 3 Art of Wars instead of 2 because you didn't get super greedy about it, which I think is a really strong play that a lot of people probably just don't do because they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna break everything and see how it goes," you know.
That's how I
Yeah.
would play Fi.
I think it's one of the stronger points because like there's certain points where you could just either maybe you just want to use the Blossom to get the free resource to play a little or something like that.
Yeah.
Then Art of War, and really, you don't really need to pop Stubbies, right? And that's kind of what I did against Zach in that game too. Is I drew an Art of War, I played it, played the Snatch for 5. If I play both Art of Wars and pop Stubbies, I probably lose that game.
Sure.
Because I was able to play that second Art of War and surprise him.
Yeah, the other thing that you did that I was like so proud of you for, because like being honest, like you've played Fi a handful of times in person that I've seen, like you're definitely not a ninja main, right? Like you picked this deck up kind of like casually, decided to play it basically the day before, 2 days before, because you were pretty all in on chain, I think. The one thing that I saw you do is like my favorite Fi move of all time. You did it against Fam, where you just go super wide and they take it all because they have a nuts hand, and then you lava burst and you snapdragons and they're expecting a Salta Wound, but you just play Warmongers and they're like, well, sick. Tight.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to play it and force him to have it, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't have it, so he got some chip in on me. Unfortunately, his turn after was enough to close it out, but in some circumstances, if he has like 3 non-attacks, what is he going to do, right? Like he's just going to play that 1 attack action.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly, which is great. Like that's also like I played against Bill the other day at Legion, and he was on Azalea, and I went first, and I threw a bunch of damage at him, and then pocketed Art of War, and then he threw a huge Bolton shot at me with like a bunch of on hits that whatever, and then the next turn I did like 34 damage, and then I pop snaps. He's on Azalea, I play Warmongers, and he just drops his hand and scoops, and it's like I think that matchup for so long was so unwinnable. And we can kind of segue, not necessarily right now, but we can segue this into what PQ season is going to look like. There's a lot of matchups that felt unwinnable that maybe Warmonger saves us from. But
another way, so the way I learned that was actually, so you do if they're not respecting you, you do your double swing and then pop bolters and you play CNC.
They're not respecting you.
Yeah. So if they really don't respect the Dawn Blade and they let you get free counters, you can pop either if you have a Twin Blade or something like that, or just a generic attack action like Pursuit of Knowledge or a CNC. Comboing that way is also really good too.
Just punish.
Yeah, because I mean, you're still threatening 12 damage if you have no counters and just generic go again. So if you have even a +3 go again or anything like that, you're threatening 15, maybe 18 damage.
Yeah. So let's segue that into the Rune Blade question, because we saw one Rune Blade. We saw Anthony on Rune Blade. It did well, right? We didn't see any chain. And Ioli said that the big issue for him, and I found this as well, although when you and I played, it was, I think you are up 1 game on me with Chain. But
Yeah.
I found that like if you can hit the warmongers on the right turn, like they just lose the game, right?
You have to play to that end state though.
Yeah.
So if a chain sees you playing to the end state, they're going to play out of their advantage a lot more.
Mhm.
So if you're trying to get warmongers off, I'm going to be pushing damage as much as I can.
100%, yeah. Do you think that Warmongers makes Chain not a great deck for this
I
format?
think it makes it worse,
Yeah.
but I don't think it makes it unplayable personally. I think people are too afraid of it. It's a 3 of in a deck, and if you don't see it, you probably have a good matchup into that if they're playing for that strategy. Like, let's be real. Like you're gonna be leaking damage into them, and if they don't see warmongers, you're probably gonna be chipping through.
That's the other thing too, is like Warmongers has to line up kind of perfectly, right? Because like you have,
Exactly.
it's a proposition, it's a value proposition. It's like, am I gonna break Warm or play Warmongers, or am I gonna swing my 1 cost starter into my sword and get my flame back with my extender, right? So like, do I want to give up my whole turn 2 and just swing for 6? Like, not always that's the case, you know.
Chain also has effectively 11 armor on the board. I mean, you're probably not going to be using that for your spellbound creepers, but
Yeah.
you effectively do have 11 extra life, which is insane. It's almost as good as a guardian's. Right?
So like, maybe Chain's unique ability to kind of play catch up that way makes it not as impactful.
Yeah, and it's good into. I mean, it's good into Prism. It's also good into Star. I think
it's
just
probably good into Dromai too if you see one.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the
I
ability
think
to
the
dragons.
Rune Blades are going to make the LL format interesting. I think Skeleta Viscerai is under explored, and Skeleta is insane. And the new card Phantasmia something
The one that just makes
it doesn't
X rune chance or whatever, and they discard.
it doesn't complete the package, but like OTK Viscerai is crazy because Skeleton's crazy. You get 2 life from it, and then you get X cards.
Yeah, you strip
So
3 cards from them at some
so
points.
I think that the like Rune Blades have been sort of the boogeyman of the game for a while. But I think they're actually going to be the classes that are going to make the LL format really interesting, or those 3 Runeblade heroes in it are going to make it really interesting. Probably not Vincent, unfortunately, but
probably not.
I don't think so.
I think it's really interesting. Sorry, I think it's really interesting that like we have this format that we've been talking about since Lil, essentially, right? When Prism left, and the first chance that anybody ever got to play it, we only had 20 people show up or whatever. So it'll be really interesting to see what that looks like in Barcelona when there's hundreds of.
I think that's a good turnout for like a non. I mean, it's technically a sanctioned format, but like not,
it's not official yet, right? Like
not really official.
And it's not like a normal age where you're playing towards an end game either, right? You're not playing towards the playoff or whatever. Yeah, I don't think it was a bad turnout. I just expected more people to be stoked to play like their pet decks that are gone, you know?
Yeah, I think another thing too is that ProQuest is right around the corner, so probably not a lot of people are thinking about testing for this format.
Yeah.
So, like you and me, we just brought Fai and just brought Stubbies. Like, we thought that was the best deck, and we brought it. I think
what? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go.
No, this is full contact. You jump in there, boy.
I think that Chain is kind of unexplored, especially with the new Renegade cards. Like I was talking to Zach about it, and I think that there is a lot of potential there with those new cards that isn't really explored because Chain isn't really.
RuneGate's good.
RuneGate's good. The thing is that you have to generate those rune chances. So, by generating rune chances is not really something that he does too often.
Yeah, Thomas just banished himself at the beginning of his turn.
So be right back. I'm back.
So what do you think, Thomas? Tell me about it. Tell me about Chain. Tell me about.
I think Chain. I mean, Chain's great. Chain's obviously great. He was always great. He's always super strong. Just get like these 8-card hands. That's insane. Chain can probably. Wait, does Warmongers prevent activation? Right, it does. Right.
Of creepers, yeah.
And like time snap potions, right?
Yeah.
It might be worth bringing Snapdragons into the matchups where you want to go fast. And
even still, like, just don't dump a ton of stuff in your banish zone, right? Like, you don't need to play But
build up the
I think the LL format reminded me what I like about Fab, which is when metas are open and not super solved, right?
Especially after these last
Which
few months of CC, they felt so mundane. Dude.
might lead to the ProQuest discussion, which is just like, I don't know, they could have hit Lexi. We all know that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So let's talk about that. So what are you guys feeling about ProQuest season? Because I'm probably not going to
Bravo.
play any of them. Thomas is saying
Play
play
Bravo.
Bravo.
Come on.
Ryan, what are you playing?
Play Bravo.
Dory?
Probably Dory.
Or Dory. Dory's
I feel
great
comfortable
too.
on the deck, and I don't think people are expecting it, to be honest. Even though I'm like the one trick Dory player in SoCal.
Yeah, but
I
like,
just don't think people.
who cares?
Like, who else is going to be playing it? Yeah, who else is going to be bringing Dory to ProQuest? Like, no one's going to be teching just for me.
Yeah.
Um,
and honestly, the one you're going to is that CC is San Diego, right?
Yeah.
So like, how many Dory main? How many? Okay, so first of all, how many people down there play against you regularly? Like none. And also, how many of them know the Dory matchup? I don't know any Dory mains in San Diego. So like, with the exception
Shots
of like,
fired.
no, it's true.
There's a few
Is
that
there?
play it, but don't do. Right?
Yeah, I think
They
with the exception of like,
understand.
I think with the exception of Zane, like nobody knows how to block against you, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a possibility. I know there's a lot of guys coming up here too, SoCal that are going down to San Diego.
Are
So
they?
it could be interesting to see. I'm just excited to play CC for this. I don't feel terrible until Lexi matchup. Like
Lexi matchup's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I think that Thomas and I, our pet WTR hero decks are like actually pretty decent into the Lexi matchup. So
Thomas, how do you feel about the meta?
I feel fine about it. Bravo's good. I didn't perform as well on Bravo as I wanted to over the past like 6 months of OP, but I think he's been a strong deck, and he gets stronger tentatively. Civic Steps gave him another 2 life, pretty good. The Fridge now is plus 10 life, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
I think if Nationals tells us anything, it's like we saw Allen get 9th place at Nats, right? So like Bravo can get there.
Bravo's great, and Allen's great. Allen was there at the LL tournament. Shout out to Allen. Bravo main Chad.
But he did get lubed, unfortunately.
He got lubed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bravo is like I think Ryan probably likes Dory for similar reasons. I like Bravo because a bad Bravo player might be at 40 or 45% into a lot of matchups, but after a lot of reps on Bravo, you can turn a lot of those 40 and 45% into 50 or 55 or 60%, and that's really rewarding to not have as many swingy matchups, and to be able to like pace through a tournament and not feel the crushing weight of randomness hanging too high over your shoulder. Except when Prism was legal, and it was like, well, crap. But
ALS, okay, I'll scoot.
All right.
Well, I think that's the good thing too, is that like between Bravo, I would say like Bravo, Dory, and Icelander, like those are the 3 decks, and maybe Dromai. Those are the 3 or 4 decks that like are actually Flesh and Blood decks. Like, because Flesh and Blood was always kind of advertised as like the mid-range game where you like interact a lot, and like it doesn't suck to be able to block with 2 cards and then do something meaningful. You know what I mean? And
that's the best Flesh and Blood, when you're blocking with 2 cards and you're coming back with 3 or saving 1 for later.
Yeah. So both of your decks do that really well. So I think that you guys definitely have a shot. Are you guys more like pumped or like what's the word I'm looking for? Like motivated because it's going to be in LA? Shout out LA. Shout out LSS.
I mean, I feel
yes.
I feel more of a drive to try to qualify for it. I told everybody
we have to all be in the top 32.
Yeah,
if we're not. We are shame.
It's so close to where it's like I can justify spending money on PTI too, and about it because I'm not traveling. So it just makes it so
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like
if I was traveling,
if you really want to go, dude, it's like the amount of money we're spending on flights. It's a PTI anyways, you know.
Exactly, and I don't feel bad spending $500 for someone PTI.
These are going to be these. I mean, I think. Well, wait. The Pro Tour is going to be no new sets, but Lexi rotates, presumably, correct?
Heavy hitters will be
Heavy hitters is out, which means that Bravo probably gets
Oh,
better.
right, because it's going to be in March.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah.
If the speculation is correct, it means that Bravo gets better and Reinar gets better, right?
I don't know if
Probably
Bravo
where
will get better. I think if you introduce another I think of Bravo as like, if you're thinking in Magic terms, it's kind of like swing big mid range, right? It's like that genre of Gruul decks that can like go from, chunky creatures to more aggro, right? I think if you introduce another one of those, it might just be better Bravo, right? It might just be like, oh, why play, right? Here's another beefy disruptive hero. Like, one's gonna be better.
Yeah,
But I think
go ahead.
like you were saying, I think Brute, Guardian, and Rare are probably going to be in the set because it looks like that's what it's leaning towards. And Katsu already got support, so supporting like the WTR heroes and like a heavy hitter set kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what else they could add to make it like a 4 draftable set. Maybe no, I don't even think they would add a 4th. I think it's just a 3 set. I think 3 is like their magic number for draft heroes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been saying like, what if there's a gladiator? But like, isn't a guardian just a like kind of, right? Like, is it that becomes
Yeah,
a
it's
little
like a
bit
mix
better?
of warrior and gladiator, or warrior and guardian kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't
So like the
really don't know how it
gladiator is
works.
just like confined to an arena. I don't know why they would be a hero.
Yeah,
It's just a fighter. They're just in an arena. If they're not in an arena, they're not a gladiator. They're just a fighter.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it should be interesting. It'll mix it up. Hopefully, Brew gets some love so Blake can win the Pro Tour on Reiner.
I would love to see Blake win the Pro Tour, dude. That'd be so epic.
And this is the Song of Rydar.
I want to see them add mechanics for Brute that add life loss and life gain as like beneficial, manageable effects that you can like weigh the risks of, so that they're getting something more than just
This is
damage with this randomness.
So
Like, have like a plus
thing,
2 heal if you discard 2 6s in a turn on a Brute hero, right? Like, that'd be cool.
So the cool thing I think that could be Gladiator is like Gladiator, if you think about it, is like a fight pit warrior who's like beefy and tanky and can take a lot of hits. It would be cool if they had like thresholds of life where you get different effects. So from like 40 to 30 you get an effect, from 29 to 20 you get an effect, from 19 to 10
That'd be
you get an
cool.
effect, and from like 9 to 1 you get a different effect.
That'd be really cool too. Yeah.
Or like adding effects to getting stronger as you get.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I don't. It's kind of counterintuitive. It's kind of like Dash, where Dash gets stronger the longer she stays alive with them.
100%. Yeah.
It's kind of different from like how Flesh and Blood is traditionally played, but it definitely could be cool.
Do you think that
Evolving heroes is the future? It's like Levia and
Yeah.
Teklevasan.
Yeah.
It's cool. I think it's like you have these dud. Like, the downside is you have dud cards in your deck. That's a big downside. So I think it's actually pretty good balance space. It's like,
So like all of Teklevasan's deck.
sick burn?
I didn't say he was a dud, but
He's kind of a dud.
ah,
Unless you're Peter Budansik, who said he's going to be the first one to LOL. We'll see how it goes.
he's gonna be staying on my couch for LA Pro Tour, calling it now, and he's gonna
hell
win.
yeah.
He's
Okay,
gonna win.
so real question: is there a world where heavy hitters is only a brute set like they did with Bright Lights? Like, hopefully not. But what do you think?
I don't think they can do that. There's no way they can.
Like, how pissed
It's
is
too
everybody?
risky.
Everybody's pissed,
It's
right?
risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you
Is
can't have a
everybody
full set
pissed?
dedicated to
I'm not pissed.
I'm a little bit
I
pissed.
think so. Coming from my standpoint, like I open a lot of sets. When I saw that it was just back in the set,
I'm glad I don't
I'm
have to open a
so
bunch of this set. Isn't that a nice break to like a lot of? I'm
Sure.
like a mid range hobby enthusiast. Like,
Yeah.
when I have a set that I can skip and my deck is still playable in the meta, I go like, kind of nice. Like, that's very convenient for me.
So I think it's not bad. I think that it's just like a lot of people are disinterested with it, and you can look at the box prices right now too. Like products aren't moving, and I think that a lot of the bought in players already are looking at this like I don't know, like I just don't have any interest in opening this or you know drafting it with friends every once in a while, not just buying boxes to open up. release day. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't even buy a box until like I got back from trip.
I think that's interesting too. If you're a mech enthusiast, then you're probably really stoked. But
Except the Marvels are kind of bad,
they are
so
pretty bad. You're pissed if that's the case too.
I'm
But
I'm a little pissed.
I will
I'm not
say that
even
I think
gonna.
that might be just an inherent built-in drawback of making a set that's really good to draft, like really balanced for draft, but like not the most impactful expansion set. Is that like maybe you just don't sell as many boxes because people aren't buying it because they want to crack boxes for mech unless they're mech mains, and like
Yeah.
maybe they aren't even doing that, but
So,
they
and then
are buying it to play sealed.
I'm not saying it's a bad set. I think that it is good to have one of these sets exist
Sure.
because you can bring any new player to it and be like, "This is what we're going to play. This is how we play it," and having that product available is awesome. But I'm saying, I don't think there's no real reason for them to do another set like this because they already have this one set where it's all inclusive. You
Yeah.
don't really have to like think too much about
You get to
attacking
make more
extras.
sets, kind of like mini games, though, right? Like if it's
Sure.
all one class, I do like that aspect of it. I guess even if fewer people open the boxes initially, to have these set like, oh, this is the all mech sort of mini game set, and I think as long as they're adding new CC relevant meta heroes, it'll be fine. But
Which
I
is
think so.
which is yet to be
I
seen,
think,
right? Like we don't know if
yeah,
that's the case.
yeah. I think once Lexi rotates, I think maybe Dash IO is the most relevant, or maybe Max. I don't see a world where
That's the really weird part right now, right? Is that like nobody knows what the meta is going to look like because Lexi's such a tuned, like oppressive deck in the format that like any design space or like exploration that anybody wants to do almost feels like a waste. So like we did see a bunch of Max kind of pop up and a little bit of IO, but if you're bringing that to your pro quest, you have to understand that like you're paying $40 to play a big armory, like because you're not going to top 8, and if you do top 8, you're definitely not going to win, right?
you have to feel 100% on the deck.
I think Wizard probably gets better after Lexi rotates.
Yeah, I think so.
Kano gets better.
Lexi, or once Lexi rotates, I think it's like it's the iconic heroes that'll be going next. And that's kind of where they want the game to be from seeing the teams like said.
Yeah.
Kind of want a reset of all these strong, powerful sets.
COVID heroes.
The COVID heroes, yeah.
COVID heroes, yeah. Because I mean, if you look at it, everything prior to Aria is like, oh, this game feels kind of back and forth, and I'm actually like, think about what cards I want to block with it. Tempo game and all that, and then Aria comes out and it's like, okay, here's 35 damage on one turn. Here's my 6 embodiments. Here's my hero that can block everything on your turn.
Block one card for 6.
Yeah.
Block 6.
And then here's my ice hero, my Lexi hero. That can do 3 damage. Don't care about anything related to elements whatsoever.
I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that Ice Lexi and like Earth and like really like those weirdo Earth Briar cards that you don't see played often, the ones with the Elemental Runeblade order. I think it's a shame that like those decks never saw a lot of play just because they seemed like cool design space wise.
Blossom of Spellblade needs to be. It's such a cool looking piece.
And well, I guess Crown of Seeds Briar won, right? That's what pushed it.
Yeah, but she didn't run Blossom though.
Yeah.
And also like that deck was that deck was like very like, is there any other
niche
deck that was like that? Like it was
no.
Like Briar was just like Briar Pile. Briar was like, I'm gonna do my best to pretend to be Oldhim, right?
Yeah.
And like it worked, which is crazy.
Yeah, it worked.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that Tails is the best set ever? Does that mean that Briar is really good? Or does it just mean that Crown of Seeds should have been banned like a year and a half ago?
Yes.
Right.
Probably Crown of Seeds.
Yeah, I think so.
If you have one deck,
Crown of Seeds is ridiculous along every angle. The ultimate angle of ridiculousness being the fact that a key part of the game is putting the right card into Arsenal and being punished for not being able to play it, or if it's just the wrong card in general. Crown of Seeds just eliminates that entirely, which is like, that's like a third of the game, right?
Well, now that Living Legend exists, they have a right and ability to ban that card and still have it playable.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, I
with
mean, I
that.
think if it's in exactly. Yeah, if it's in Living Legend, that
I
ban
think
it.
it's a good ability to say, okay, well, we want to balance CC to be the absolute peak competitive format, but here's your degen format where everything's legal. Do whatever you want with all these cards that are too overpowered for us to even consider.
Yeah. I saw something on Twitter where someone was like, "Man, it would be really cool if LL replaced Blitz for competitive events," and I thought that was a really
I saw.
interesting.
I like that tweet so much. I
Yeah,
love that tweet. It's so much better than Blitz. It's so much better.
like the fact that you can go to a Blitz skirmish or battle hardened and like every round does last the full 35 minutes because people do play slow, but like every round could potentially last 15 minutes and it's done. Like I don't think that's great flesh and blood, right? Like even in the LL format, like your games lasted typically kind of like longer. I would say on average.
It didn't
Blitz
feel
was
short.
good for like 2 months in 2021.
That's the hill you're
So
dying on.
I will
After
say
mid 2021, it's like a ridiculous format.
the new
Sorry, Ryan.
sideboarding rules with it, I think, make it a lot better.
I agree.
That's
but
fine.
it's still too fast. Like you have, and I think they're trying to get rid of some of the feature heroes. Like I think getting rid of Chain kind of slowed the form down. Icelander's gone. Olden's gone. Who's next? Like I don't even
Kano,
know.
maybe? I don't know.
Kano would probably be next. I think he's like at 300
Ira?
or something like that.
Is Ira ever going to be like? Because Ira didn't do anything forever, and then they were like, "Here's Drone of Brutality," and she was like, "I'm amazing again." And then they were like, "Oh no, just kidding. We're kidding. Take it away."
That's
It'd
something
be
we didn't
cool if
touch
they made
on.
it so that Ira couldn't get LL points, and so she's always like a new deck that you could play Blitz with.
That's
kinda
interesting.
cool.
Yeah. What were we going to say, Ryan?
So, something we didn't touch on was Drone of Brutality, and I didn't see anyone run it.
Yeah, I didn't either, which I thought was interesting because like you
I-
could,
Gentleman's agreement to not run it.
I really wanted to run it like a Drone of Brutality Katsu list. I think that would have been hilarious.
that would have been hilarious, dude.
Hey.
Hi.
Whoa.
There's a ghost in your house, my guy. Yeah, I think playing Ninja Turtles would have been hilarious with a bunch of drones in your deck. You're like, I just never run out of cards. What are you gonna do
Can
about
we
it?
Yeah.
can we all bring Ninja Turtle to the next LL event? I would love to run Katsu Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, we can play test that, and then people will be like, "What the hell is this?"
Click Flack.
We'll just do the thing where we gain like 18 life and block everything
Flack.
super efficiently. Yeah, it'd be great.
All my cards block for 5.
God, what a meme! I can't believe that was a deck. Like, I can't believe that was like the deck for a long time. People were like, "Oh, dude, Ninja Turtles the best deck, dude."
If you have like, it was like Ninja Turtle and then Bravo, and then you had yellow. What's it called? Reinar Majestic.
Yellow Rhino.
What's it called? The Reinar Majestic.
Barraging? Oh,
With that.
Bello? What the hell? The one where you draw a card, discard, and everything gets +2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood Rush Bella.
There it is. I knew it was Bello.
Blood Rush Fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that meta back then in WTR was sick. I remember I just started like looking at the game and following it from afar, like after Arc came out, and so the meta sort of froze in time because of COVID. And yeah, Ninja Turtle was such a sick deck list.
I think it's interesting that like you guys both play these like evergreen heroes, and I wonder if that's always going to be the case. Like, I don't see Bravo or Dory LLing anytime soon, right? And like, I don't even know if you guys want them to.
Hell no. Of course not.
Every time she gets a couple LO points, I die inside.
I got Bravo 2 L or however much it is now from winning that one pro quest, and so I can like die happy now because that was like one why I'll be on it. That's one thing I wanted to do. But yeah, I cry every time I see him get LL points that I didn't get him. Like if he's getting LL points because I start winning callings, that's fine. But
biggest thing for me is like, and probably for you too, is that even in LO format, Dory and Bravo are just right. So like,
sorry,
this
sorry,
is
you cut out. Say that again.
They're never going to be competitive in LO
No,
So
because you have
it's like,
Starvo, right? So like,
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
like
it's just like
it's strictly wrong to play Bravo and LL, right?
the thought of like this is the only format she's legitimate again kind of sucks. That there's nothing like.
When you get like a little emotional, Ryan, you start talking lower, and then we can't hear you because your mic cuts out. So
Oh, sorry.
it's okay.
It makes it more. It makes it way
makes it
more
dramatic.
dramatic
I
because
like
I
it, yeah.
totally
Yeah.
feel what you're. I totally feel what you're saying. Like in a sense, playing these more balanced heroes, there's one format for us, and then they're going to be gone one day, and they're not appearing in the LL format.
Like, I don't know if there's a world where they print Bravo Superstar of the show. You know what I mean? They might make Dory Star of the show because they haven't, but I don't think Bravo's coming back again, my guy.
If they just give him Crown of Seeds, that would be like he could be LL viable with just Crown of Seeds.
I mean, we've come to see that anything could be viable if it can play Crown of Seeds, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Oh God, Dunn's like, I mean, like, and the funniest thing I saw about Dunn's deck that won is that like that's not Dunn's deck, right? Like that's Nathan's deck.
Shout out to Dunn.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dunn.
Did you see the thing that Kale? Yeah, shout out to Dunn for sure. Did you see the thing that Kale posted post U.S. Nationals, Thomas?
No, or maybe
Kale-
post US National.
Yeah, Kale posted this screenshot of a conversation between.
Oh
him-
yes,
Yeah.
that was epic.
Epic.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Ryan?
yeah, I think I remember now.
Yeah, he's like, you know what you should do? You should play that control
Play
Briar
Fatigue
deck
Briar.
because nobody's gonna expect it. And then he's like, nah. And then the guy that like it's not his deck is just like, I'll play it. And he's like, oh, I just win. That's cool. That's a wild, man. So yeah, in this PQ season, we're expecting to see a lot of Lexi wins. We're hoping you guys squeeze one out. Is there any profound thoughts that you have about this PQ season, or is it the same business as usual that it's been for the last 6 months?
A
It's
practice.
changed, honestly. I just need to practice. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a
Instagram's
week. You guys have a week to figure it out.
I need to get those stupid. I finally found a store on TCG Player selling the individual Blitz decks from the TCC thing because I need to get my new shoes and I need to get Boulder Drops. 3 of them in blue. Of course, they're Blitz decks, so there are going to be 2, I'm sure. If there aren't, I'll take back the anger that I'm expressing now. But god damn it.
But god damn it.
Welcome to my pain, man.
Oh
Buy
god.
those.
It's okay, dude. In heavy hitters,
True.
Dory's gonna get 15 more specialization yellows, and then she'll be in the same place she's in now.
Then I can
If you
play
played
Leopard.
if you've played 2 other Dory specializations this turn, gain 5 life.
My attacks all get natural go again. They all get dominate. And on hit make a frostbite. Welcome to Ice Warrior.
You know, one nice thing about playing Evergreen Heroes is that you get into competitions with each other about who has like the most blinged out deck.
That's
you know,
true. That's
and
true.
Ryan and I are pretty close.
I think
A
that's
tight race.
courage, right?
I know.
I mean, yes.
Yes. Oh my.
You do have a tunic though, so
Brian, why didn't you go to Hawaii this week? I'm not talking crap about the Hawaiians because I'm sure they're great guys, but god damn it, man.
I was there last week, man.
ProQuest Honolulu.
Guys, I have a huge Hawaiian following there. This isn't going to go over well.
Oh my god.
You need to cut this.
I'll cut that for sure. So, all right. So to wrap it up, because we're getting to that time of night, I want to say that I'm very excited for a few things. I'm very excited that LL happened, even though I had a terrible time because I just got ran over. But like as a whole, it was a fun day. I'm very excited to see heavy hitters make a blue 6 attack block 3 brute
Not
card.
going to happen.
And I'm also very excited to see Blake at the final table against Michael Hamilton at Worlds next year, saying this is fill in the blank of blue 6/3, and I'm going to discard it, and then I'm going to attack you, and then Blake becomes the world champion. It sounds like an amazing time. What are you guys stoked about?
See him in the finals and lose again.
Tell me what you guys are stoked about.
I'm just stoked for Lexi to be gone. Let's be real.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Excited. I'm excited for.
I personally don't care if Lexi's gone, but she's making people around me upset, so I hope she goes. Um, I just want to play more competitive games with the SoCal people and get better at the game by losing to you guys. The competitive events are the best, so that's why I like that they've gone with a heavier Pro Tour schedule. I just want to keep playing a Pro Tour schedule. I just want to keep playing more ProQuest, you know.
Yeah. I think the thing that I'm most stoked about right now too is that like I don't feel super pressured into qualifying for Pro Tour like I usually do because like worst case scenario it's 15 minutes away. Like I'm not flying anywhere.
Calling.
So like I can play the calling, I could play the battle hardened, I could pull a Ryan and just show up to the venue like hungover out of my mind. Not that that ever happened, but I could do that and then play side events and just enjoy the weekend. Like so if I qualify, awesome, and if I don't, like it's still gonna be an awesome time. Do you guys have any final follow up thoughts? And do you want to shout anything out? Do you want to point us towards your socials? Do you want to tell us anything?
Don't find me on the internet.
Don't find
Just have fun with the format, explore new things. Like there's a lot to explore with LL, so you'll find something that'll blow Starvo out of the water.
Yeah, I think also like this season has really helped me realize that like it's totally okay to take a break, right? Like I've been playing a lot less, and like the format's just not super enjoyable for me, and like that's okay, right?
If you're not having fun, explore something new because that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, but it's not the worst. It could be worse. Like playing against Sarvo this weekend reminded me that it could be so much worse. You know what I mean? Like
Fab at its worst is still the best TCG by far, in my opinion. So
preach, brother, man.
I'll take. I had more fun playing against Starvo than Lexi.
Yeah, I did too, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Oh god, the fact that Evan brought Lexi and did so well, and Bryce brought Lexi and did so well. What the hell, man? I don't know. Anyways, let's wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much. We finally hit 100 subscribers. Woo! If you like this content, like, subscribe, comment, share it with friends. Find Ryan on the Twitter at Neuter, and find Thomas Briggs on the internet. Actually, yeah, don't follow Thomas because he has some spicy ones.
Follow me. Follow me at ZZZ Wake Up.
Yeah, no, that's not your Twitter handle, dude. That's why I couldn't find you. Your Twitter handle.
I mean, it kind of is.
It's not. It's written right under your face. It's Tom Briggs with a THOM. I think he doesn't know that, which makes me happy. But yeah,
I don't know what Twitter is.
Oh God, we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.